For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Hello family, welcome back. It's interesting reading the words all nations deceived and thinking about what's going on right now. I know that you guys, many of you are experiencing firsthand the persecution. I'm hearing about it, and it's very crafty the way they are persecuting the elect and making it look like it's for other reasons. And we're seeing the same story play out again. The Father has set people free. They turn to false gods. And the story continues. He sets them free. Eventually, they become corrupt again. And right now, we are being set free and set apart from the rest of the world. And the only difference is now that we are reaching what feels like the end of this chapter, the new beginning about to approach, we have an advantage to those in the past. We have an example to live by that they didn't have. An example of someone who has lived out the Father's will perfectly and what he taught us. I've been thinking about this a lot when I was doing our last video and talking about prayer. Thy will be done was a part of those instructions. And thinking back to the ultimate sacrifice, the agony, the anticipation of this event, hoping to avoid it, knowing your Father is the creator of heaven and earth, and he can save you in the blink of an eye, but following your own instructions and saying, Thy will be done, even though it's not what he would have chose. No one would choose to take on all of that. And so one thing we need to remember is these instructions are important, and we have an example to look up to. There is a way out. Some of you may have already taken one of the shots. Who knows? For those of you, it's not like you're too far gone. You've taken the mark. I'm not saying this isn't or is, but I believe there's a way out for those of you who you might have made a mistake and now you're waking up and regretting your decisions. When you turn back, there are many verses you can look back to remind you that his mercy endures forever. When people have turned back to him time and time again, he's always told us if people would just turn back to him and love him with all their heart, he will be willing to forgive them and give them a new start. But people are stubborn. We don't always see the examples right before us and follow that. But to those who keep his commandments, it says, from generation to generation, he is rich in his mercy. His love is great. I only know this from experience. I'm not saying this because I read it in a book. I have personally experienced a healing for myself that I did not deserve. And for whatever reason, when I turned back to him, he healed me in the blink of an eye. And that's what has been a big part of this journey of understanding and looking into how is it that people have got him so wrong in his love and his guidance. Why do they lose trust in him? Because the words that I spoke right before the healing was, I trust you. And that is when the healing happened. I didn't realize how powerful those words are, but they are powerful. He wants us to trust him and to not be deceived and put our trust in the world. And sadly, we're going to watch many people, all nations, deceived by the pharmakia, the sorceries. It's not a pleasant thing to watch. We're starting to see now, I know me personally, I don't know if all of you can share the same stories, starting to know people that are actually dying from pneumonia. I'm not going to say the other words, but that is essentially what they're dying from. And I'm seeing that happen at rates I've never seen before. And it's all conveniently happening after the rollout of these things have come into being. And now all of a sudden, I'm seeing firsthand accounts of this stuff. And I know a lot of people. I have a pretty big circle, so if it's happening, I'll see it before a lot of people do. Being in education, you're connected to a lot of different people from a lot of different schools, as well as social media, and you guys reaching out to me. The persecution, though, is what I want to talk about the most. We're going to witness a lot of people perish for their lack of knowledge. It will be heartbreaking. And the best thing we can do is have compassion for people who are on the fence, or maybe people who are already going down that path of being deceived. Have compassion, be a light to them. So I want to read really quick a verse to remind us what we need to be like, because we need to realize how blessed we are. We are being persecuted, no doubt, but it says, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." That's what's happening. But we are told to rejoice and be exceeding glad, because we are children of the Most High. We're royalty. Our Father is the creator of what we are now seeing, his beautiful creation and the truth about it, the firmament, the world beneath it. And so we need to be glad, because our reward in heaven is great. And it says, "For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." Again, we're living out what's happened time and time again, and we are the lights of the world. Okay, big lights right here. The world is getting dark. You may be the only light in your city or your town or your area of your country right now. You got to let that light shine. Like it says here, you're not going to light a candle and then put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. The only way they're going to see his love, because they're not seeing it on TV and in the news, is through us. That's a big responsibility, but they need to see it. It's very easy to see what they're putting out, the wanting us to die and all of that, and the narrative they're pushing out in the mainstream. I mean, this stuff's on TV. Turn on the TV and there's comedians are saying that, those types of things, the politicians and whatnot. It's making you want to wish evil on these people, but don't do it. Don't fall for the trap. Return love for hate. Pray for these people. Pray for the elect that are being persecuted, losing their jobs. And remember, and this is one thing I've had to remind myself of, because it could happen to us too, is that if you lose all the stuff of this world, it's okay. You're actually more of a threat. You have nothing holding you back from doing the Father's will, because Yeshua, his beloved Son, was essentially choosing to be homeless. He could have had the world. He turned it down to go around, and when he did his Father's will, what happened? Healing after healing after healing. The dead were rising. People were seeing this, and they still convinced the masses to kill him. So it's not too far-fetched to think they could convince the masses to do the persecution against us for our medical choices. We're not raising people from the dead, but they had him put to death doing only good. He did no harm, broke no laws, and so it is possible. That's the kind of principalities and powers of darkness we're up against. We are in spiritual warfare, and that reminds me of the two Esdras, also known as the fourth book of Ezra. I was reading it, and it talks about God's people, how they must prepare for the end. It says, "Hear my words, O my people. Prepare for battle, and in the midst of the calamities be like strangers on the earth." I know I hear from so many of you that feel like, I'm just alone. I feel like a stranger on on this earth. There's like, everyone's asleep. And that's why gathering and meeting up is extremely important right now. And here's another verse that talks about deliverance right here. It says, "Listen, my elect ones, says the Lord. The days of tribulation are at hand, but I will deliver you from them. Do not fear or doubt, for God is your guide." That is powerful. I get chills hearing this, because it's true, and we lose sight of that. When they were set free out of Egypt, they would always just mumble and complain and think, oh no, even though he did all those great things, you lose sight of that. You see the here and the now and you think we're doomed. We are not doomed whatsoever. We are the opposite of doomed. The destruction that's coming for those that perish, they're the ones that are doomed, but we are not. So it says, God is your guide. You who keep my commandments and precepts, says the Lord God, must not let your sins weigh you down or your iniquities prevail over you. So don't get caught in that trap of sin. And the way that you can avoid that, the only way that I was able to get out of that trap that was just keeping you back for years, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but that overall trap of condemnation is because we're just not ready to be set free. A lot of us hold on to it too tightly. You have to be ready to be set free. Saying those words, I am ready, is the first step. You have to really be ready, though. Don't hold on to it. Realize those temporary pleasures are nothing. They come and they go. They leave you empty. They leave you condemning yourself. And ask Him to set you free, and He will. He will make it to where it's not even a battle anymore, where it feels like that battle you can't win. He's fought it for us. He will guide you. He'll give you a way out. And you don't have to trust me. Trust Him. Put your trust in Him, and that will happen. It's not going to be super easy. It's not like you can just never worry about it again. You're going to be tempted, but He's going to give you a way out and deliver you from that and set you free. But I just wanted to put this out there as a reminder of you guys of what we have and what we are being called out of. It's essentially being called out of Babylon again. He is getting us ready. The truth about creation being revealed in these last days is so that we can see not only how awesome He is in His creation, but we can have eyes to see the other lies and how great these lies can be. I would have never thought that I could be lied to about something to that scale. We can, and that's what we're up against. So stay ready. As I say, we're working on a series to help with that, and I don't really want to call it a series. I just want to do some things that help me prepare and you prepare for what's to come, because we're already in this battle where many of us feel like we're losing everything. And some of you are losing the worldly stuff that you've had, that you've worked for, and we need to come together and support and pray for each other. But fight this. Don't just quit because you hear this stuff's coming. Fight it as much as you can. But again, we are like strangers on this earth, and the whole world is deceived right now. It's biblical, it's prophecy, and the rewards we have are worth all the fight. And remember to say those 4 words, thy will be done, even if it leads you across the country or through some suffering temporarily. Thy will be done is what the example we need to live up to, because it is the example that we were not only told to do, but we witnessed that right before the crucifixion. Thy will be done. And so the Father had us in mind. His beloved Son had His Father's will and us in mind as He took those steps. Don't let it be in vain. Like the commandments say, don't take His name in vain. You're taking His name when you become one of His children. Don't take it in vain. He loves you, and great is His mercy. And I want all of you to experience that love and that joy that people, foolish people like me, who have been just overly blessed to receive, did not deserve it, changed my life, transformed my heart in a split second, made me a new creation. And so those of you with broken hearts, the pain, the suffering, I want you to experience that. Step out and say those words, I trust you, because He still heals and He still loves us so much that He would be able, that He's been willing to go through some long suffering that we can't even fathom. So again, can't say this enough. Stay safe. I love you guys. Keep us in the loop with what's going on with you guys. I love hearing from you, and we'll keep building each other up. But I'll see you guys very soon. If you're interested, I know it's the last minute, like literally last minute for the meetup. If you're in this area and you want to go, we got about 90 people attending. Probably going to grow a little bit. I keep having people every day now. It seems like adding on a few here and a few there. So if you want to go, there's room. We could have up to 250 people, and it'll be a little crazy and chaotic. We're trying to feed everybody. So just let us know if you're coming so we can try to provide enough food. The Father has blessed us with some support. A couple people have reached out and helped us pay for some food and things, and I thank all of you for doing that. It is helping us big time. And the speakers that are going to be there, I've tried to keep it a surprise, but UAP, Ben from Taboo Conspiracy, they're going to be hanging out, question and answers, maybe speaking. Really don't know where the Spirit's going to lead. Candace is going to be singing from Oklahoma. Hopefully I can get that on video and she'll allow me to share it, get her discovered. She's on fire. She's awesome. Her and her son are coming down from Oklahoma again. And that is just such a blessing. Like I'm so humbled. It's hard to fathom all this stuff working out. And so it's going to be cool. Oh, also Little Light Studios, I verified for sure he's going to be there. Mikey Jenny, he's coming. So you guys will get to see a little bit of his testimony. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person at one of our local meetups and had no clue he was a big time YouTuber with a nice ministry going on at his channel. So I'll share links to that so you guys can see it. But if you have any questions about that and want to go, it is September 25th. We'll be camping the 24th, the night of the 25th, and then leaving on the 26th if anybody wanted to join in on that. I think the campsites are about full though, so you got to hurry up and book one. But we can squeeze in. Maybe somebody will let you put a tent on their site. I'm sure that would be no problem. But anyways, I love you guys. And as always, you are beloved creations of the Most High. We'll see you soon.